What's up, you beautiful Redditors? Hope you're having a fantastic Saturday. Welcome to the RNEWS Evening Show. And let's just jump into it. From r/World News. US could be thrown out of Olympics over Trump funding threats, a World Anti-Doping Agency warns. Don't let this distract you from the Senate Intel report on Russian interference and manipulation in the 2016 election. Yes, but Nancy Pelosi got a haircut, so it's all they're talking about. Hilarious watching them just ignore the losers' comments like The Atlantic is the least trustworthy news source. Lol, how can they expect us to believe these lies? As if the president would ever say something like that. Quote, "You can criticize both scenarios instead of focusing on one and by all measures burying the other, as some are doing. Removed from some subs, buried from the discourse on many platforms. The latter approach is not very credible. Do people buy into the idea that Pelosi visiting a hair salon without taking safety precautions or following corona recommendations was a setup? Would the same benefit of the doubt be given to Republicans? Go ahead, criticize both scenarios. It appears that Nancy Pelosi said the right things in public, but behaved irresponsibly in private, as opposed to Trump, who says the wrong thing in public, behaves irresponsibly in public, and also publicly berates everyone who behaves correctly in public, and gave wildly dangerous advice on several occasions. That's why I don't think Pelosi or Trump is qualified to be president, but it's also not hard to rank their behavior on a scale. Anyone have Trump ruining their Olympics for America on their apocalypse bingo? You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/Politics. US could be thrown out of Olympics over Trump funding threats, a World Anti-Doping Agency warns. A report by the White House's Office of National Drug Control Policy suggested that the U.S. withhold its WADA funding to strong-arm the agency into giving the U.S. more representation on its boards and committees. It's Trump plan on everything. Withhold money to force a country, person, organization to comply, and if everything goes to crap, too bad for everyone, including the athletes who have been preparing for this moment for their entire lives. I would like you to do us a favor though. President Trump withholding congressionally appropriated military aid to an ally under attack from Russia. This is it here. Trump is certainly doing this to extort some personal benefit. Maybe a spot on the commission for himself or Ivanka. Let's be real. The actual reason this happened is because Russia ordered it. In any other administration, this would be laughable accusation. Not in this one. Trump didn't even know what WADA was until his handlers told him. The only thing Trump knows about the Olympics is they have 13-year-old gymnasts he would like to rape given the chance. There is nothing in it for the US with this, it's pure service to Master Putin against American interests. Not even Hitler got kicked out of the Olympics. ETA. I'm being flippant. I know it's not this simple. Sorry for formatting. Mobile. But Putin did. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/Politics. Attorney General Barr incorrectly claims Jacob Blake was armed when he was shot by police. The Attorney General attempted to draw distinctions between the police killings of George Floyd and Mr. Blake. What's different? Blitzer asked. That's when Mr. Barr suggested Mr. Blake had a weapon. Floyd was already subdued, incapacitated in handcuffs and was not armed, Mr. Barr said. In the Jacob case, he was in the midst of committing a felony and he was armed. So that's a big difference. Though Mr. Blake did have a knife in his car, there is no evidence available that supports the claim that he was armed or suggests that his intention was to grab his knife and use it against police officers. During the interview, Blitzer told Mr. Barr that, according to Mr. Blake's family, the man was unarmed at the time of the shooting. I stated what I believe to be the difference, Mr. Barr said, not acknowledging his inaccurate statement. When the Chief Leo of the United States is lying in broad daylight, in a way that is intentionally fomenting violence, and it's not the biggest story of the day, something is very wrong. Seriously, I can't even. Jesus freaking Christ, I stated what I believe to be the difference. I know I'm wrong and my point is entirely invalid, but I'm sticking by it. Freak Bill Barr. What I believe as usual, it's how they feel that takes precedence over the facts. As reported elsewhere, Barr is an end-times Opus Dei religious lunatic and an absolutist regarding presidential power. He knows Trump's an absolute imbecile, but sees him as a tool. There's little left to uncover. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/news, drone dropped hundreds of bags of cannabis in Tel Aviv, attracting dozens of confused people, who rushed to pick up as many bags as they could carry. Sounds like they weren't confused at all. Actually, it is Israel. I would expect a certain degree of trepidation towards mysterious objects falling out of the sky. Last time it was manna, this time it's kanya. I mean, if a drone yeets bags of weed at me, I'm sure as hell gonna pick up as many as my grabby hands can carry. But that's not gonna stop me from looking up into the sky at the drone while I wonder what the fresh frick just happened, and whether or not this is real life. You can do both things. Edit. Thanks all. Now my highest upvoted comment is about magic sky weed. I appreciate it. Edit 2, holy crap. I went the grocery store and came back to like 23 notifications and so many awards. Thank you all so much. Y'all made my day. I'm so pleased that you all enjoy my weird sense of humor. Lol. God, is that you? Proceeds the Weedian, Nazareth. Sleep, dope smoker. They call it the Holy Land for a reason. Free weed falling from the sky is as close to a modern-day miracle as we're gonna get. I assume, neatly pre-packaged, to keep it in nice shape. Better than manna falling from the heavens, that's for sure. Modern-day manna. Marijuana. We call this strain the Quran because if you burn it you'll get stoned. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/politics, Trump may have committed a felony by telling supporters to commit voter fraud, do not vote twice. There's no may. Trump directly encouraged people to commit electoral fraud, which in and of itself is a felony. He's really racking up a high score on number of crimes committed while in office. I said Trump will destroy the country regardless of what happens election day. But clearly he wants a jump start. Trump has already destroyed the country. Look around. There's 200,000 dead. The economy has completely stopped. Cities are burning down. Cops are murdering black people with impunity. But the stock market is doing great. Am I right? Edit. A lot of people are missing the point of my post. It's got nothing to do with today's drop. It doesn't matter how much it falls as long as it's still in record territory. Since Trump took office, they use the excuse that the stock market is doing great as a justification for how good Trump is doing. The President of the United States is an unindicted felon. Has been, still is. Nah. Vote twice MAGAs. Trump said so. You'll be fine. After the elections, I haven't lost. Democrats cheated by voting twice. Invalid election. I win. No more elections. Democrats will be rounded up starting tomorrow for this act of treason. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/World News. After 7 years Snowden gets validation. His validation was never in doubt. It was just a matter of time while he waited for the rest of the world to catch up. But will it change anything? I really believe that it already has changed how people view surveillance programs. Yeah, but for the guy that sacrificed his life for it, will he be able to go home, enjoy his life and go on with it without having to look over his shoulder for the rest of his life? He will never experience normal freedom in his lifetime, but I think he's slightly safer than he was 2 years ago now, which is a start, I guess. Why would he be safer? An enemy of the US will probably be safer in a country which is an enemy of the US than being in the US. Russia is not an enemy, they are friends now, helping with the elections even in these hard times. Putting bounties on American heads while Trump was putting bounties in Puerto Rican hands. Edit. Thanks, kind stranger. Trump likes pardoning people. Maybe he can pardon an actual American hero for once so the dude can finally come home. I thought he only likes to pardon corrupt or deeply flawed people. Snowden didn't flee to Russia. He was stuck in Russia after US invalidated his passport. And that's where we're going to end today's show. But if you like what you saw, leave a like, and if you want to see more of the RNEWS show, hit that subscribe button. As always, this has been the RNEWS show and I'll see you tomorrow.